everyone, and welcome back to another video. Today we're back on the map that was made by, there it is, by Zombie1111. This is his little parkour map in the newest update, and I'm just jumping through it, chatting about things. I have a pretty lighthearted chat planned for you guys today, so I hope you enjoy it. So without further ado, let's get into it. For today's chat time topic, I want to tell a few stories that revolve around a theme of being early and or late to an event. A few years back, my dad wanted to surprise my mom for their anniversary with the renewing of their vows. He got in his friend to officiate the entire thing, booked a church, and invited all of our family members to the event. But all of that was the easy part. The hard part was making sure my mother wouldn't arrive at the venue early and therefore spoil the surprise before it was ready. So, when my mother was ready to leave to what she thought was a nice dinner with the grandparents, 20 minutes too early, drastic measures had to be taken. Measures that would end with me in tears due to Mother being frustrated with me, but I'm getting ahead of myself. Dad pulled me aside. I can't remember what age I was exactly, but I was still in middle school at this point, and told me that he wanted me to come up with a way to steal Mom. So, in my quick thinking, I hid my dress shoes in a place I knew no one would find them, and told Mother I wasn't ready to leave because I couldn't find my shoes. For the next 10 minutes, my entire family was forced to hunt for these shoes, and sure enough, no one was able to find them. I still had another 10 minutes of stalling to do, but Mother was getting extremely annoyed with me. Now, I have a wonderful mother who's extremely loving and supporting. I can come to her with any problem and she'll always be there for me. There's one thing you never mess around with when she's about, and is being late to things. She hates being late to things, and prefers to be 20 minutes early to something, rather than risk being even 2 minutes late. So another 5 minutes passed, and she started yelling at me for losing my shoes, and my dad is being no help at all, even though he was the one who got me into the mess. He's just letting me take the yelling, even when I started crying, all the while I was still lying about how I had no clue where the shoes were, and after 2 minutes of this mess, it was getting to the point where she was saying I wouldn't be allowed to go. I was terrified I'd miss out on this big event for my parents, which only made me cry more. Eventually, we just settled with me having to wear my sneakers, even though they were old and worn and definitely did not match a nice dress I had on. See, my plan had been to hide the dress shoes, but after the 20 minutes, find them and wear them to the vow renewal. But now, that didn't look like that was going to happen. I was so upset that I just put on my sneakers and we headed out. Now, the entire event was very sweet, and Mother was definitely surprised. Dad did tell her what I had done to prevent her own obsession for being early ruin the surprise. And she apologized and we hugged, and we now laugh about it a few years later. Especially when we look at the photos from that day and we see everyone in their nice suits and dresses and dress shoes and me wearing my worn down sneakers. This would not be the last time my mother's drive to be early to everything would affect my life. Another time this happened was for my 17th birthday. Now, during my last 2 years of high school, I was part of the First Robotics Club. I plan to talk more about this club in later chats, but for the sake of this story, all you need to know was that I was super close to almost everyone on the team, and we were more like a family than just a club. So as a family group, we would often celebrate birthdays and such together. So as my birthday neared, some of the members of the team planned a surprise party for me. Mostly because they knew I never did much for my birthday, and they also knew we'd be meeting on the very day. They got in balloons and streamers of purple, which is my favorite color, and even made me a homemade cake. All of them had gone out and bought their favorite book to give me as they knew I loved reading. It was honestly extremely sweet, and to this day I feel extremely blessed every time I think about it. So some of the team had come early to the area where the team met up to set everything up. They told my mother about it so she would know to keep me away from the building until much later. Only my mother didn't keep me away. In fact, she did the complete opposite. We were at the place about 10 minutes before most of the team would show up, and therefore only 10 minutes after those who were setting everything up had arrived. So that's how I ended up early to my own surprise party. Well, they weren't planning to do the whole hide and jump out. They were planning to keep the room they had set up and closed and lead me to it and open the door and everything being finished and such. But alas, thanks to my mother, this was not to be, and they were mid-decorating when I walked in. And while I laughed about it, everyone else was really sad that they didn't get to truly surprise me. But in the end, that didn't matter, because the fact they put so much thought and effort in something simply to make me happy was more than I could have ever expected. And to this day, that party is one of the most meaningful moments in my life. A moment where I really felt like I belonged and was loved and valued. The final story I want to tell is another embarrassing college one that involves me being late to an important school event due to one of the most terrifying creatures to fly on this earth, wasps. So my university was having an event where students could present projects they were working on, or an entire class could choose to do a presentation together to present their work. My 18th century class was one such one where it was mandatory for us to present some of our final project at this event. The final project for this was a creative one where we had to write a story, play, or a research paper themed around the 18th century. My project was a historical fiction about a girl living in the slums during the London Plague. I was to read some of that fiction for the event. Now, I was preparing for this event when my brother tells me that wasps have found their way into the house. Now, it wasn't one or two of these guys, but a good 10 of them, so I get distracted attempting to help him kill these things. The problem being, we had a stairway with a high ceiling that allows you to look down from the top floor to the bottom, which is impossible to reach, and the wasps had taken refuge there. I got very distracted by this problem until I looked at the time and realized that I was late to the event. So I hopped into the car and headed to campus, emailing my professor on the way out, not while I was driving, and I was on my way. So I arrived near the end of our class's presentation to enter a room where the chair of the English department, my advisor, and some professors whose classes I had and whose opinion I greatly respected, all turned from my classmate's presentation to stare at my entrance. I kind of just sat down and didn't say anything, but I felt extremely embarrassed when I had to get up to tell my story. Thankfully, I was slated to go last, so I hadn't missed my chance to present. But I did have to remain in the room as all my other classmates left to explain to all these professors why I had been late. That is when I told them about the wasps. There was one particular line that saved both my grade and the respect of all my professors, and that was the line, "I had to abandon my brothers to the wasps to come here." One of the professors said that if I gave him permission to use that line in a book, he'd make sure I was not penalized for being late. I, of course, agreed instantly to this, and everyone had a good laugh over the story I gave. I guess that's one advantage of being an English major. The professors have great respect towards you if you can come up with good excuses, and share those excuses in entertaining ways. As for the wasps, my brother had taken care of about half of them by the time I came home, and it was another couple of hours before we got rid of the rest. At one point, we had a giant fly swatter duct taped to a yardstick reaching over the railing in an attempt to reach that tall ceiling, kill the bugs. This didn't work very well, and our wasp-sized fly swatter broke in our attempts. At one point, we gave up and went out to dinner, but when we came back, we were able to hunt down the rest and kill them, and no one got stung. Well, there we go. Looks like we managed to finish the parkour. And I now get to press the complete button. Ta-da! So that's this part of the parkour map done. In the next talking video, we will take on the jungle parkour. I hope you guys are excited for that and will stick around to see it. I also hope you guys have a beautiful and blessed day, and I'll talk to you guys again soon. Bye!